have in front of me is a very large stack of generic art journal pages that I have started or put texture on. Let me back up a little bit. Okay, so what I have been doing has been to take art journals like this kind, and I really like these a lot. They're very inexpensive to find, and because they're not expensive, I find that I don't treat them like precious art, if that makes sense. It kind of takes the fear of messing it up away because it is inexpensive and it's readily available. At least this particular kind is readily available for me. What I did was I actually cut the spiral binding off, and then I end up with a bunch of loose papers. And then as I am watching television at nighttime, now these took me weeks to do, but this is my collection of them. As I'm watching television at nighttime, I will be sitting with a table in front of me where I can have a glue stick and a bunch of random things that I glue down to the pages. So let me find one that's really not done at all. But I basically just find things around the house and glue them down while I'm sitting there watching TV. So it's kind of, it's really mindless kind of art journal page prepping. This is black and white washi tape that I have taken a thin coat of gesso and applied it with a palette knife. Here is more washi tape and also some masking tape. Different widths. I always keep different widths next to me while I'm doing this. Some more with masking tape. Okay. This one is just, it's very difficult to see, but it's just gesso. Another one that's just gessoed. Gesso, gesso. This one might be difficult to see, but this is texture paste through stencil. And I do that for a few of them. Now, the reason I do this is because when I try to art journal, I'm not always inspired to art journal all at the same time. I have a very short attention span. I have difficulty sometimes getting out of my own way, so I overthink the pages. So sometimes if I have a bunch of these types of pages done, or at least ready for me to go, I can pick 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them and add one thing to each, whether it be acrylic paint and if the mood hits me, then I can keep going on that page, or I can put it aside, let it dry while I do another page. And I just kind of let it be very free-flowy. This one, although it's hard to see, I actually used toilet paper, to be honest with you. This is toilet paper mushed down on my page, and I just used a glue stick underneath it. And it's really, there's a thick coating of gesso on the top of it. That's what makes that texture. This is an old book pages. This is some paper toweling, if you can see that. It's paper toweling that I cut into strips. The way that I do these is I roll the paper towel up into a really tight tube, and then I just cut the tube. And when you unroll it, it ends up being these long strips. This was a cardboard box of some sort. Can't remember what it was exactly. This is some napkin. This one is some wire-edged net-type ribbon. I think I got it for like 25 cents at some garage sale of some sort. I don't really like the ribbon, but I really like the texture it makes, so there's that. This is paper toweling that was used to clean up ink of some sort. Here's more cardboard, different colored cardboard, lots of texture. That'll be a great background. Here is some crumpled up tissue paper. And of course, I've gessoed over the top of these again. Here are some, I really like using these. You know the inserts that come inside of your magazines? I never know what to do with them, and there's so many of them. So I've started kind of collecting them, not insanely. Please, thank you, don't send them to me. I love you. But I just kind of tore them up and glued them down randomly. The cool thing is that I also like the way the colors all kind of go together. Here's a bunch of postcards that I had gotten from different things. Just kind of glued those down. A bunch of receipts. That is a little bit harder to see because I gessoed over that one pretty heavily. Here is a roll of, I don't know what you call it, I have this right next to me. It is a roll of paper. I think if they use it in, I got it in the hardware store, and I believe my husband might have given this to me. It's just really, really thin. I think you use it for protecting surfaces for when you're painting. So it might be for like taping off your windows or something if you're doing a big paint job. But I just basically glued some of that down and then used some masking tape over the top of it and then some gesso. This one is a bunch of ledger, it's ledger paper that I've actually just ripped up and glued down. Here is some Bible pages. Another old book, The English People. Some more ledger pages. I really like ledger pages a lot because I'm really into lines and squares and that kind of stuff. Just different colors. I believe this is the Tim Holtz Postal tissue paper, I think. I'm not sure. You get them in a big roll. That's what that is. Here is some masking tape and some music sheets. This is very, very juicy to touch. And what this actually is, you probably recognize it. This is the little mesh container that your little cuties or your clementines you get from the grocery store. This is that mesh that those come in. I just cut the edges off and voila, there you go. I actually had to use gel medium on this one. You can't use glue stick. Did not work on this. It's too textured, but it's really got a great feeling now to it. And there's another one. Same thing. I really like the edges. I like how they're just kind of like loose, and you probably won't see any of this color when I'm done with these pages, but I really like the texture of it. Here's some more paper toweling and different sizes of masking tape. More ledger paper, masking tape, masking tape. This one is one that I really like doing. It's using masking tape, but when you're laying the masking tape down, you lay it in such a way that you cause it to have lots of ripples and ridges, and which is nice for me because it takes the pressure off of trying to make it perfect, because the idea is that if it's not perfect, then that in itself is perfect. So that's what that is. This is some, again with the idea of like trying to find stuff around the house to use for my backgrounds. This was some first aid tape, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's like a first aid paper tape that you might have on hand in your first aid kit. I found some of this in my bathroom, and then I washed it over the top of it. More paper toweling and masking tape. So what this is the back peeling of carpet tape. So basically you buy carpet tape in a big roll, you get it at a hardware store, it's about that big-ish. And when you peel it off, this is the backing. And I didn't want to lose it because I thought it had like great little design. So I just used it. This is some deli paper that I crumpled up and glued down, and then I used some masking tape over the top of it and then gessoed that one. Some more ledger paper, masking tape. Oh, this was I called it drywall tape, but it's not drywall tape, it's actually carpet tape. I misspoke on that, sorry about that. But that's what the carpet tape looks like. It's usually like an off-white beigey color. More masking tape. This is some other kind of hardware tape. I'm not sure what this one's called. It's very cool. It's kind of plastic that you have, and I actually gessoed this one, or not gessoed, excuse me. Yes. I actually gessoed this one pretty heavily after I was done. I kind of filled some of the holes up a little bit, but I really like this one. Book pages and masking tape, receipts, and washi tape. So that is kind of one of those things I do. Obviously I have a lot of pages. So what I am wanting to show you is another thing that I really like to do is do collage out of magazine pages. I have a lot of magazines. I really feel like guilty because I've spent money on them. I don't want to just toss them. Oh yes, these eyes, they were part of the collage element, but I really, really liked it, so I kept them there. I gessoed over the top with a palette knife, and then I used a handwriting stamp with some waterproof permanent ink to just kind of stamp all over. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet, but it's just another example of like just picking one of these pages and just kind of going with it until you're like, okay, I'm done with it for now. I'll do something else. This one, I like this one a lot. This was actually an element. I just found some really wide lace, and I think it was like the cheapy section of, it's just very generic lace, but it was really wide and it's a lot of texture. I really liked it. And I just did a wash of paint over the top of it. There's a couple different colors there. This is paper bag. This is probably one of the thinner paper bags from the grocery store, but I just crumpled it up and glued it down. Again, I used gel medium on this one versus glue stick, and you know you use glue stick versus gel medium when the whatever it is you're putting down is thicker or heavier than what you could put down with the glue stick. So anything with lots of texture, I try to just gel medium it versus glue stick. This has some gesso over the top of it and some paint. This is another magazine collage sheet, and I gessoed over the top of that, and I did some stenciling over the top of that. This one is sort of magazine collage-y. What I did was I took a hole punch, and I don't know what size that is, half an inch maybe, but I took a hole punch and punched a whole bunch of circles out of one single solitary magazine page so that I knew all of the colors went together. But I just really like the colors of it, went with that, and I liked the circles so much I ended up putting a acrylic paint over the top with a stencil. This one is paper toweling. This is what paper towel looks like if you then, after gessoing it, you put some acrylic paint over it. And I think I dry brush technique this one. Rather easy. This is some more of the paper towel. I know it looks kind of strange, but remember the strips I told you? You roll it up and then you cut little strips. And I actually glued these down very haphazardly and randomly, just let them kind of fall wherever they wanted to. And then I did use gel medium on this page to kind of soak the little pieces and like actually adhere them down. And then I put acrylic over the top of that. Dry brush again so that I could pick up a lot of those techniques. This is another one of those hardware tapes. I'm not sure what it's called. You probably know. Some of you might know. This tape, although I love the texture of it because it's very grid-y, it has a tendency to stay really sticky. So you have to coat this one a lot with something to make the stickiness go away or embed the stickiness inside of your page, if that makes sense. What I did here was I added a bunch of colored paints, and I'll probably just keep covering it with gel medium or more paint or something to make sure that all that stickiness is gone. This is more deli paper that was crumpled up and glued down, and then I just, this one's a little bit different technique. I basically did a wash of acrylic on it first, then put a stencil over the top of it, and then using a baby wipe, rubbed the paint off of the page through the stencil, and then just kept repeating myself with different colors, and I kind of kept overlapping until I got the page that way I liked it. I kind of like the way that one's turning out. Okay, so this page is one of those pages that I prepped by doing modeling paste through, or texture paste. It might be molding paste or texture paste. I'm not exactly sure what I used on this, but it's basically a raised texture that I created by, I think, using molding paste through a stencil. So that's kind of cool. It's got a lot of texture on it. And then I used, I put paint on there, 2 different colors, and then I used a wet brush and kind of just washed it around. Kind of cool. This is one of those collage pages. One of the things I really like doing is taking women and cutting up different eyes, different noses, different mouths, and kind of collaging them all together. I'm not sure, it's kind of one of the things I'm going through right now, one of the phases I'm going through. It's intriguing. It's kind of fun to me. It's a little Picasso-esque. And I didn't have to draw it, just collage it down. And this is just gessoed at the moment. Another collage page. This is actually some articles, like 1-page article of Zooey Deschanel, who I absolutely love. What I did was I just tore the page in a horizontal pattern, obviously, and then I just mixed it up so that all the colors all go together because they all came from the same piece of paper, and they're kind of interesting because they're all from the same piece of paper, but when it's all done, you probably won't see a lot of that. But it's cool. I like it. I like that. This was another collage one I did. These are all different pictures from all different magazines. I just really liked the colors. So like I told you, when I do my collages out of magazines, I pile them together. So I might do that for you on camera once and show you what I'm talking about. Here's another one of those same types of sheets. Just it over the top of it. Gives you a lot of texture and a lot of color. It kind of helps guide you when you start doing your art journaling. It takes some of the guesswork out of it for you. Another one, just colorful, happy collage sheet. Here is another washi tape one that I kind of started. And yeah, that's it. It's a lot. That's a lot of information. But you know, my life is up in the air at the moment. I get to kind of create and design my life however I want to, and I haven't decided exactly how this is going to fit in yet. But I do this all the time, so I really want to share this with you. I'm going to start with these. I have lots of other pages that I do, lots of other types of techniques that I'm doing. But yeah, so that's it for this week's art video journal. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye for now.